Welcome back, survivors. It's Shay1 here. In today's video, we're going to be going over the best wyvern counter in all of Ark, and generally just a really solid PvP mount in the game, right? And that's this guy, the Tropegonathus, right? Stick around to the end because I'm going to teach you guys everything that there is to know about this guy, how to PvP, how to tame, where to find, what to level, how to use, everything, tips and tricks, and much more, right? You're going to be absolutely flabbergasted at all the abilities and all the secret stuff that this guy can do, and literally are just going to farm kits with this guy by the end of this video. So let's get right into it, okay? So the very first thing we're going to cover is what you actually need to tame the Tropegonathus, and contrary to what you might believe, it's really not a lot, right? All you need to tame the Tropegonathus is a ballista turret, 3 chain bolas in case you missed one, and then 3 stone dinosaur gateways, 2 stone dinosaur gates, and then some kibble, right? If you don't want to use kibble, that is fine. The foods that you can use to tame this guy in order from most effective to least effective are going to be exceptional kibble, raw mutton, raw prime meat, and raw meat, okay? Now normally this is where I give you the times, right, for that it takes to tame, but you know, it's saying on official with exceptional kibble it's gonna take 2 hours, and ain't nobody got time for that. So we're gonna do something else, right? We're gonna do some little trickery here, right? We're gonna do a little secret technique, okay? So let's get into how you're actually gonna tame this guy now. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to set up a trap like this, right? 3 stone dinosaur gateways with 2, gates, on each side. And then leave like a nice little fat gap in between one of them. This dude's hitbox is absolutely huge, so don't worry. I mean, obviously don't make it too big to where a truck can drive through it, but you can make it pretty wide, right? And then just place a ballista turret next to it to where it can shoot through the gap, so that way you can actually, ballista the Tropegonathus. So now let's actually go tame this guy, right? So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to find this guy out in the wild, right? I'm gonna spawn one in right here, but you're gonna want to find him out in the wild, and then you're just simply gonna want to shoot him square in the face. Well, that didn't work. Alright, don't have the highest damage fabricated sniper as me. We're gonna shoot him in the butt. Alright, come here, buddy. Right here. And you're literally just gonna lead him into the trap. Come right here. Yep, you got it. Oh, no. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come here. Yep, just kite him right on in. Close the door. Easy peasy. And then that's it. Bada boom, bada bing. You've just trapped him. Right? He's done. Right? So before we actually start the taming process, this is the little secret technique that's really not so secret, right? Is you're going to want to get this guy into some low HP first. So as you can see, he's on half health. We don't want that. We don't want him to be like, on a feather. I don't want to shoot him in the face because then he'll die. Alright, there we go. He should be very low. Just get right up next to him. Yeah, he's very, very low. So after this happens, okay, instead of sitting here and, taming him up and waiting 2 hours to tame him, what you're going to go do is you're going to go take a 5-minute break. A little piss break, go get some water, maybe get some snacks. Anyways, just be back in 5 minutes. The reason why is because we need this guy's food to drain. Because if you start the taming process, his food will take absolutely forever to drain unless he's hurt, unless he's on low HP. And so we're just going to let it sit and let his food drain really, really fast. Much faster than what it would if you start the taming process now, which would take like 2 hours. If his food isn't going down, that's a bug. But one way you can fix this is if you chain bola him, right? And don't start the taming process, right? It'll be like, oh, like feed your food or whatever. Don't do that, right? Just chain bola him and leave him. And this should fix the food to where it should be going down, right? So just a little quick note there. Alright, so during this break, we're going to go over where you can actually find the Tropegonathus, right? Where you can find these guys is a little bit skewed. I found that you can find these guys in literally all the exact same spots as a Tapejara. When they first released, it was like they can only come on Crystal Isles and then Fjordor, but I guess they switched it to all maps, and which is what I believe because all the servers I've played on recently, you can find the Trope on every single map that has flyers, of course, not AB. And they tend to be in the exact same spots as Tapejaras, so I'm just going to put those on screen now. Feel free to pause the videos, right? So now we're going to go over where you can actually find the Tropegonathus, and it depends on what boot of the game that you're playing. Depends on the spawn locations, and here's what I mean by that. If you're on PC, you're only going to be able to find these guys on Crystal Isles and Fjordor. If you're on console, you can find them in pretty much every map besides Aberration in all the exact same spots as the Tapejara. So I'm going to put the maps on screen now. Okay, feel free to pause the video, and just note if you're on PC, only Crystal Isles and Fjordor apply to you. So now let's get back to actually how you tame this guy. Alright, so the 5 minutes is up in real life time. So if I come over here, yep, his food is completely drained. So now his food is completely drained. what I'm going to do is I'm going to spawn in some raw prime meat, because if I use this with exceptional kibble, it's going to insta-tame. And I don't want to do that, right? So, because I want to show you what it's like unofficial. So, this is a 3x server that I'm on. So, what I'm going to do is you're going to come to the chain bola. You're literally just going to chain bola this guy, and then you're going to feed him, right? Once you feed him, you're just going to wait. It takes 20 seconds in between feedings about, and I'm just going to sit here and just wait. Right, if you're on a 3x server and you're using exceptional kibble, it's going to insta-tame. Okay, so just note that. Boom. He's ready to be fed again. And boom, I just tamed him. I just got 3 feeds in about less than a minute. Right, so much faster than 2 hours doing it that way. And that is really, really nice. So congratulations, you have just tamed your first Tropegonathus, and you are probably very, very, very excited. But you might be kind of confused as to what you want to level and what are some good stats in this guy. If you're not, I'm here to help you out, okay? So first things first is there's 3 main stats that kind of apply to this guy. And you can build this guy in a multitude of different ways, like the Griffin. So let's get into that, right? The 3 main stats that apply to this guy are going to be health, stamina, and melee damage. Okay, health, okay health on a trophy, you're looking at 2,000. Good health, you're looking at 2,500, and great health, you're looking at 3,000. Stamina, okay stamina on a trophy, you're looking at 500. Good stamina, you're looking at 600, and great stamina, you're looking at 700 for a perfect tame 150. And as far as melee damage goes, 200 melee damage is okay, 250 is good, and then 300 is great. So doing a quick evaluation on this Tropegonathus right here, I'm not going to lie, this dude's an absolute god. What a beast. This dude is just a complete stud, right? This dude is running around with 3,456 health, which is ridiculous. 800 stamina, which is absolutely ridiculous. These are insane stats. And he has 433.8% melee damage. Now, that's unachievable. Okay, my melee damage is bugged on the server, and I don't know how to fix it. So, that's unachievable. But if you were to hypothetically get this on official and breed this line up to 400 for mutations, dude, this would be one of the best like Tropegonathus on official if you were to breed this guy up correctly. So now let's get into how the builds that you can do in this guy and what you want to level, right? So there's 2 builds that you can go on this guy, and that's going to be health and stamina builds or stamina melee builds. And it really depends on how you're going to use this guy. So you probably do know this, but the Tropegonathus has a jetpack saddle that shoots rockets, right? And if that's the main use that you're going to use on this guy, then I'm going to go all health and stamina. However, if you're going to be using the jetpack and trying to pick people, right, then you're going to want to go to melee damage if you're not going to use the rockets with the grenade launchers, okay? The reason why is because his teeth actually is armor piercing, so it chews through flak durability. Doesn't matter what it is, what durability your flak is. I mean, it does. It helps if you have better flak, but it like takes this bar even like for 5 seconds after you bite it and just depletes it. It is absolutely busted and broken. He has like an armor piercing ability. As what percentage that is, I have no idea, and I can't tell you. I looked all throughout the internet and tried to do some testing myself, and I can't find it. But for about 3 to 5 seconds after you take a hit from a trophy, your armor will continue to deplete the durability on it. So it has armor piercing, which is absolutely nuts. So most saddles provide extra armor. Okay, this one does not. This one, the higher level your saddle is, the more damage that you get on the Tropegonathus rocket launcher. And I'm about to explain all this in a second. You might be like, rocket launcher, what? No, this dude's an absolute stud, okay? Now, we're going to slap on this 500% damage saddle, and we're going to level this guy up real quick. So, the way I level my trophies, no matter what I'm doing, I'm always going to get them at least 2,000. Personally, I like a little bit more stamp, like 2,500. And since this guy has a bunch of a good saddle, I'm going to go all health into this baby, because I'm not going to really be using this guy to pick people. I'm going to be using him to counter wyverns out the sky. Alright, so now let's actually go over the abilities of the Tropegonathus and how you're going to use this guy in PvP. And to start with, we're going to take off the saddle, because you can actually ride this guy without the saddle. And he moves identical to the tappy and actually sounds identical to the tappy, the same things. You can move left, right, back, forth, blah, blah, yada, yada. You know the deal. You press X, you go straight up. You press C, you go straight down. Okay? You know, nothing special there. If you press your left click, this has your standard bite attack. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It's, you know, fairly weak, like a standard creature in the game. Okay, but if you click your right click ability, this is your pick, just like a Pteranodon. However, you pick people in your jaws, which is super, super cool. And since they're in your jaws, whenever you use the left click, you just do the armor piercing. So that's pretty cool. It has the exact same pick. It can pick up the exact same creatures as a tappy and a pteranodon. So if you're familiar with those, you should know what a tropy could pick up. You know, all the small creatures. So now let's get into his jetpack, his rocket launcher. Okay, and this thing is an absolute beast. Okay, so if you press control with the jetpack, this is what happens. You know, you turn on the jetpack, you press shift, and then you go to super speed mode. And the bottom left, you can see it requires gasoline to actually use the jetpack, and you'll see the gasoline going down in the bottom left. Okay, it also gives you a speedometer in the bottom, and as you can see, I'm only going about half speed even with the shift. And you might be like, what? How are you only going half speed when you're, you know, using the shift? And that's because he has this draft ability. So what I have to do is, whenever there's another flyer, as you can see right there, that white stuff, you get an extra speed increase. And this ability is insanely useful for hunting down literally a bunch of animals in the game, for hunting down all the other flyers in the game, because you can just like gain on them so quick, right, when you get that draft going. Okay, you're about as fast with the draft and the rocket boost. You're identical speed with the tropical crystal wyvern with the water boost. So you're actually faster than all the wyverns, and then you're faster than you're as faster than the tropical crystal wyvern without the water boost, and if he has the water boost, you're going the same speed, right? And so you could actually really mess some wyverns up with this guy. You're faster than a griffin, faster than a snow owl, you're faster than a PT, a tappy. Like, this dude's an absolute, he's got some speed on him, okay? However, a mana and a Maywing, you can't catch up to. But anyways, let's go back to the abilities, right? That's just the speed. So here's your left click. You got the draft, you got the speed boost. I'm shifting. Now, if you press control or your crouch a button, then you will do this little 180 flip, which is actually really dope. This is super useful. You know, if you have a wyvern on your tail or somebody's coming right at you, you look behind you, boom, pop this, and then boom, you know, you can light people up, which is very nice. I would also recommend to fly with this guy in first person. The reason why I would do that is because it's a lot easier to shoot your rockets when you're in first person. So that is very cool. If you press right click on the when you're in the rocket mode, it shoots these rockets out, which actually do, with a high damage saddle, do a lot of damage. For most creatures, you're going to be doing about 300 damage. That's a 251 because that wasn't a direct hit, and these are wild creatures. It actually gets a buff on tamed creatures, which is kind of nuts, right? But on most creatures, you're going to be doing like 300 damage. The Tropy is very strong against unsaddled creatures like the Griffin and like the Wyverns, okay? And he actually gets a 5 times damage multiplier with a Wyvern, right? Whenever you're attacking a Wyvern and you're shooting your rockets at him, it's a 5 times damage multiplier. And this does insane amount of damage with the 5 times damage multiplier. So he's specifically designed to kill wyverns. That's his whole job. And there's really nothing a wyvern can do on it, because you're so much more maneuverable and agile on a trophy, and you're faster than a wyvern, and you can deal more damage than a wyvern, and you can pepper them from much farther distances and deal so much damage. I mean, it takes 2 seconds between each shot with the trophy, with your rockets, and if you have a max damage saddle and are landing direct hits with the trophy on a wyvern, you're going to be doing 2200 damage, and 2250 is the exact number. 2250 damage every 2 seconds to a wyvern. So you can absolutely just murk wyverns. If you're on a wyvern and you see a trophy coming your way, you might as well just DC. You might as well just give up, because you're pretty much dead, right? There's really not much a wyvern can do against the trophy. And if you're on a trophy and you see a wyvern, you should take that fight 100% of the time. You should take the fight, because you're going to win it 95-98% of the time. Even if you're just like half a decent trophy rider, you'll be able to kill a wyvern on a trophy. It's just the ultimate counter to a wyvern, just because the extra increased maneuverability, speed, and the damage buff that you get when you're attacking wyverns, okay? Also, one thing that's really nice about the trophy is the fact that it shoots grenades. And the reason why this is nice is because you could shoot people right off the back of their tames, including stegos, right? You can't pick people off the back of their stegos, but you can come in from the sky, straight up and just absolutely just boom, 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 strafing run them right off the back of whatever they're riding. And stegos are so slow, it's like, you know, it's like taking candy from a baby, dude. And you're going to be doing 300 damage a hit with a max saddle on a trophy to like somebody who's on the ground, which is actually very, very nice. I mean, you can literally just come in from the sky, just blast them right off the stego, okay? Also, the next ability is his pick ability. If you're in control, if you're in the jetpack mode and you press X, it goes into like you're actually the pick mode. So let's go find right here this Dillo, right? We're gonna go pick this Dillo up off the street, and you got to do it so beforehand. I just snatched them up first try. See, and see, he's in my claws. I can eat him in my claws, which is very, very cool. You can also shoot your rocket launcher while he's in your claws, which is very nice, and you'll actually just blow him up. So like what you could do, I wonder if I can pick up this Obi, but like when he's in your claws, you can shoot your rocket and it'll shoot the thing that's in your claws. Let me grab this guy, and like look, boom, just like that, you can blow it right up, right to shreds. Okay, so that is very, very cool. So the way I'd recommend if you're using a melee damage trophy is literally just to pick something up, right? I missed it. It's so early. It's so much earlier than the Pteranodon. Like before your jaws close, you need to close your jaws before you actually pick the guy up. It's to get a couple bites off and then hit the right click ability to blow him up to shreds once his armor comes off, right? And just finish the job, you know, just kill him off. So yeah, trophies are absolutely phenomenal. You can come from the sky. You're pretty much the biggest wyvern counter in the game. Bloodstalkers, you're pretty good at countering. Pteranodons, tappies, griffins, Pteranodons, tappies, and griffins are pretty much very easy kills for you too as well. You don't get that damage buff, but they're generally very easy kills. The thing that you should be very, very cautious of on a trophy is a mana. A trophy versus a mana, you're kind of going to get wrecked. Like, if somebody's on a mana and they're coming after your trophy, that's a fight that you shouldn't take because a mana is much more faster than your trophy, and they can literally just freeze you out the air, and it's just like, it's just not good for you. Like, it's going to be really tough to take out a mana. However, to take out wyverns on a trophy is like easy peasy, and that's just like free kits all day long. Okay, so between the armor piercing pick, the left click where you click him in your jaws, the rocket launcher, the jetpack on his back, the maneuverability on this guy, the speed, this dude's just an absolute beast and really is just a formidable opponent. And it's very, like, if you know what you're doing on a trophy, you could really wreak some havoc, especially because most people like to ride around on these wyverns. But yeah, whatever builds you go with on your trophy, you're going to be happy. I mean, just snatching people right off their tames with a jetpack, right off their wyverns and pteranodons, you're gonna be happy. Even if you don't have like a high damage saddle, just the fact that you could have the armor piercing pick is very, very nice. However, they can break free from it, just like the Bloodstalker, but it's very, very weak. Like, it's near impossible to break free. So the big counter to these guys is whips. Like, if you pick somebody up and he pulls out a whip, you should kind of just drop them because they can whip you right off the back. It's like an RG to where it's going to take a couple tries, but they'll get you. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, these guys are an absolute beast, and if you want to farm kits, I would highly recommend getting a trophy. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the video. So now I'm just going to leave you guys with a couple fun facts about the Tropegonathus. Number one is that these guys lived 125 to 100 million years ago, which was an extremely long time ago, almost an unfathomable about a time. Okay, they also were about 8 feet long, right, from, you know, foot to head, and had a 25-foot long wingspan, which is absolutely ridiculous. Weighed 100 pounds, so these dudes were huge, bro. Like, actually just ginormous in the sky. Okay, and what's it called? And the last and final fact is that they lived in South America. Their fossils were primarily found in Brazil. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please leave a like and subscribe because that'd mean the absolute world to me. If you like my content, be sure to check out some other stuff. I've made videos about literally almost every single creature that people actually use in the game. I'm starting to get into the more nuanced ones and finishing up the more primary ones now. So yeah, other than that, peace out, and may God bless you all.